Let's go to the batteries here.
Okay.
The battery is ready to power the world, okay? The flow of batteries is currently dominated by Asian countries and companies. Nearly 65% of lithium-ion batteries come from China. Let me repeat that one more time. 65% of lithium-ion batteries come from China. By comparison, no single country produces more than 20% of global crude oil output. 65%. This is an absolute monopoly coming out of Asia. Rechargeable lithium-ion batteries were first commercially used in held-hand camcorders in 1991. Laptops soon followed. A decade later, batteries enabled the rise of tech titans such as Apple Inc. by powering smartphones and wearable devices, then made their way into electric vehicles. The basic technology throughout remained pretty much the same. Lithium ions move through a liquid from the cathode to the anode and back again. This, however, was just the beginning. After a decade of rapidly falling costs, the battery has reached a tipping point, no longer just for consumer products. It's poised to transform the way the world uses power. The gains are likely to continue. Electrical vehicles are currently the main source of demand for battery cells. As demand grows and the cost fall further, batteries will become even more disruptive across industries. Battery industry scored a win at General Motors, company which said it hoped to phase out gasoline and diesel-powered vehicles from its showrooms worldwide by 2035. The first commercially available, et cetera. Okay, so Kai, tell us what's going on with these batteries and why should we be paying attention to this?
So obviously, just looking at the 65%, it's a shocking number that's coming out of China.
Yes.
So first thing I looked at then was which countries have the biggest lithium iron ores or the mines, right? Surprisingly, who would we think is on top?
China?
Exactly.
Okay.
However, China is not on top. On top, you have Bolivia as number 1. You have Argentina as number 2. You have Chile as number 3.
By the way, those are some of the 3 worst countries to do business with.
Yes,
Just so you look that on that list.
They're
like
largely undeveloped.
Yes.
They're not doing anything with
Well,
them.
Argentina changed it. They used to be up there, but they went a different direction.
3 South American countries.
It was deemed as too risky for financial investment.
So Bolivia, Argentina, Chile, continue.
4th one, none other than USA.
Huh.
How many lithium ores do we have open?
No idea.
1 in Nevada. Guess who hinted at creating a second one in Nevada?
Who?
Musk.
None other than Elon Musk. Because
Okay.
he wanted independence, not having to rely on others. However, number 5 is Australia, and then number 6 is China. China has 4.5 billion tons. Bolivia has 21 million tons, or they're both in millions. However, the thing that is different is out of all the countries, China is the one that's pulling the most iron ore or lithium ore out of the ground. Other countries aren't. So that's a concerning. However, another part of it is Australia. They exported $1.9 billion of lithium, right? Most of it
Lithuania.
went to none other than
China.
Exactly.
Okay.
So they're getting it
Why
all
should we
in.
be concerned about this? Why should we be concerned about
The concern about it is, in some ways, just that they're marketizing. They have the control of it. Obviously, we saw now with the disruption in supply chains that we have the struggle of getting the chips that we needed and self-sustaining kind of how we're building things. Another part of it is with the increase in the electrical vehicles and the batteries. I mean, batteries moving forward are just going to be more important. The reason oil has been a strong commodity as long as it has is it's easy to transport. You put it in a tanker, you drive it wherever you want, and you drop it off. It has the same energy value and kind of efficiency wherever it is. Gas, you can send it in pipes and it stays the same. Batteries, or especially electricity, you know the high voltage ones, they lose a lot of power when you're sending the electricity. So what you send from A, if you send 100%, you're not receiving 100% on the other end. So batteries are the closest way we can do that, and that is why if you look at Tesla, the biggest thing they're doing is battery development and figuring out how you can store the energy, transport the energy, and get the most out of it later on. So that's, I mean, the future is going to be in batteries because we need to store the energy. We need to figure out how to do it as efficiently as possible. And obviously, China's leading the front on that end.
The future is in batteries. You just said. Let me tee you up and tee you up. You know how they say, you know, you only remember, 20% of what you see and 10% of what you hear and whatever the thing is, but people remember how you make them feel. How should people feel about this battery stuff? Because I don't speak robot, I don't speak battery. I'm hearing I'm hearing a lot of
math guy.
Yeah, exactly. For a mathematician, I'm hearing a lot of batteries. I'm hearing a lot of lithium. I'm hearing a lot of mining. How should we feel about this?
I mean, there's a reason for concern, especially if things are being more kind of split and companies aren't being able to get as much from China.
It's very easy, Adam. Here's how you got to look at it. So, what percentage of the cars? You guys got to turn off your thing because I keep hearing your audio. You turn off your speaker because I keep hearing typing. I hear it. Okay, thank you. So, what percentage of cars are going to be battery-driven cars in the next 10 years?
A lot more than they are today.
Give me an idea.
50% was projected by 2040.
20, 40, 50% in the U.S.
50% of cars
worldwide.
on the road. Yes.
Okay. So it's 50%.
Damn.
50% worldwide by 2040. And if Will Ferrell has it, it's going to happen sooner than that. If it's up to Will Ferrell.
Your boy. I know you guys are having a fierce debate.
But watch this. So if that's the case by 2040, who has control?
The
China.
electric car
China.
company?
Okay. So you remember when people said, why is Elon Musk shaking hands in China? Why is he doing? By the way, his business is growing in China. So he's done a great job being a diplomat, working with other countries, trying to get that part going.
He has this big thing going in Germany as well.
However, let me tell you what this means in a whole different way. If this is the case, and we need, import-export, guess what country cannot have sanctions with U.S.? Guess what country cannot have any kind of sanctions? China. So those sanctions need to be lifted because businesses behind closed doors, such as GM, the Teslas, everybody else, going to be like, listen, we need China. They own 65% of it. You're shutting them down. You're hurting our business. We want to create jobs.
Cost.
You're increasing the cost. You got to open it up. So look how it's like the story. Okay, let me tell you the story. So yesterday I was on a podcast. Girl asked me and said, the podcast was called Women, something about women. What was it?
Women in Business.
Women in Business, something like that. So she said, what can women do to be, more, successful in business? I'm like, look, I can tell you from my perspective on what any person can do, man or woman. Let me tell you a story. And this is exactly what China did. So there was a king. This king has a daughter. He wants his daughter to marry a prince. But this daughter ends up dating a local guy,
person.
And they get together, and he finds out about it. When the news gets back to the king that the daughter ended up hooking up with a local guy, the king sends his troops to go do what? Kill the guy. So they go get the guy, and everybody tells him, listen, man, you're about to get killed. His people are coming after you. You're going to die today. They're going to kill you. They want to make a public example out of you. This guy panics. He's like, oh, my gosh, what are you talking about? This is crazy. He says, well, you got to figure something out. Do run away. He said, I can't run away. This is where I have everything. He said, I have a plan. It's okay. So he, on the side, was a psychic, okay, where he would like do your what do you call it?
Readings.
Like your readings and all this other stuff. So they come to kill him and says, look, before you kill me, I have some news that I have to tell the king. The king has to know this. And it's bad for him, but he has to know this. As a psychic, I have a vision, and I've seen it. I saw it yesterday. He has to hear the news. So what do they do? Well, the king, hey, we have to take you. He wants to say this. So the king says, come on, and before we kill him, I want to see what you have to say. He goes to the king, and the king says, what do you have to say? He says, well, I had a vision. I was reading and seeing where you were at and what's going to happen with your future. My prediction is you're going to die a day after I die. Okay? So the king says, what do you mean? He says, whatever day I die, you die the next day. So the king, who's an extremely superstitious guy, says, dude, we can't kill this guy. We got to make sure we give him the best life. So the king brings him in, has him marry the daughter, okay? And he says, take care of him. What ends up happening?
Played the king.
The guy outlives the king, and the king ends up dying. In this situation, China's the psychic. China has made it impossible to sanction them. China has made it a monopoly to say, I dare you to sanction us. Listen, what are you talking about sanctioning us? You're going to need us long term. And they're sitting there saying, you taught us capitalism. We brought it in. Everything you did, you allowed us to take all your trade secrets. We're already so competitive. It's so hard for, listen, we're the number one. You know we're going to win. We're the future of the world. We're the future of capitalism. We're the future of business. Every innovation is going to come from us because you taught us. But it's too late. So this entire battery game is a monopoly game for China. Congratulations, China. You have won the game. because that's the direction the world is going. Big victory for
And
Asian
there's no
countries
reversing.
in
There's
China.
no reversing.
65%? No.
And
Listen,
even- and they were saying
imagine you're playing a football game. The score is 65-0. Third quarter, second quarter, you're going to have to do a Buffalo Bills comeback.
Yeah, we got to get Tom Brady on the scene.
You got to
baby.
get Tom
Atlanta
Brady.
Falcons.
Exactly. Matt Ryan. So that's kind of where they have such a long, big lead. Who's going to come in and try to compete with these guys?
Because if you think of it also as the market, obviously the market cap for batteries and the need for it's going to expand, but they're just going to grow with it.
So the world is moving towards batteries, and China's already there saying, "Come to my wheelhouse, baby. We're already
What is
doing
this
it."
controlled by? What is that controlled by?
Yeah,
What's Pat's phone controlled by? What's the watch controlled by?
You're saying batteries are controlling big tech.
Batteries, I
behind the
mean, they're
scenes.
the energy of it.
Guys, we learned something today here on the Bet David podcast. Batteries.
But I
are
think that's where
ruling the
investment
world.
has to play a large role. I mean, you talked about it's not like they're the only ones with actual lithium, but
Which is the good thing. That's the great
which
thing.
is a great thing. But you have to invest in that. And we're like right now we're talking about $1.9 trillion, relief bill. It's not like we don't have money. It's how we choose to spend our money, and we have to choose to invest in our future, and we're not doing that.
When are you running for mayor? I mean,
Paul should wear those glasses more.
that message, the way you just said it.
Gavin Newsom, I'm coming for you, buddy.
Yeah,
Ice Cube for president.
I'm Paul Escarcega, and I endorse this message. Just say that once, Paul. Say it once.
I'm Paul Escarcega, and I endorse this message.
Beautiful. I like
Paul
it.
it.
So if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.